I refused to give my sister my eggs after she called my kids genetic mistakes. My sister Amber came over to my house on a random Tuesday, which was already weird because she never visits. She sat at my kitchen table fidgeting with her coffee mug while my 8-year-old daughter Emma was doing homework nearby. Emma has Down syndrome, and my 5-year-old son Lucas has autism. They're amazing kids, but they need extra attention. Amber waited until they left the room, then dropped this bomb. She said her doctor told her she'd need donor eggs to get pregnant, and she wanted mine because we had similar features. I was actually flattered at first, thinking this could bring us closer. Then she said something that made my blood boil. I know your kids turned out, different, but the doctor said my eggs are the problem, not yours. So your eggs should work fine for making normal babies. I stared at her, not believing what I just heard. I asked her to repeat that, thinking I misunderstood. She doubled down. Well, you know what I mean. Your kids have those genetic issues, but that's probably just bad luck. The eggs themselves should be fine. I told her to leave. She got defensive, saying I was overreacting and that she was just being honest about wanting healthy children. That's when Emma walked back in, asking for help with her math homework. Amber looked at her like she was some kind of science experiment gone wrong. The next day, Amber called crying. She apologized and begged me to reconsider, saying she didn't mean it the way it sounded. I agreed to meet her for lunch to talk it through. Big mistake. She brought our mom, thinking backup would help her case. Mom immediately started guilt-tripping me about family obligations and how Amber had been trying to conceive for 3 years. Then Amber said the words that ended everything. Look, I love Emma and Lucas, but you have to admit they're genetic mistakes. I just want to prevent that from happening to my kids. Our mom actually nodded along. I stood up and walked out without saying a word. That weekend was Emma's school play. She was so excited because she had a speaking part. Amber showed up uninvited and cornered me in the parking lot afterwards. She said she'd been researching donor egg procedures and found out the whole process would cost me weeks of hormone shots and multiple doctor visits. Then she offered to pay me $5,000 for my trouble. I looked at her and said, "You think my daughter is a genetic mistake, but you want to pay me to risk creating another one?" She tried to backtrack, but I was done. I told her I'd rather donate my eggs to a complete stranger than help her have a baby she'd probably resent if it wasn't perfect. The real kicker came 2 months later. Amber announced on Facebook that she was pregnant, posting a long caption about miracles and never giving up hope. Turns out she'd found another donor through a clinic. But here's the twist that makes me feel vindicated. At her baby shower, I overheard her telling someone that she specifically requested eggs from a donor with no family history of disabilities. She spent extra money to avoid what she called genetic risks. Meanwhile, Emma came home that same week with an award for reading improvement, and Lucas had just learned to ride a bike without training wheels. Their achievements meant more to me than any perfect genetic test ever could. Amber's baby was born perfectly healthy, which I'm genuinely happy about, but she's never acknowledged what she said about my kids, and our relationship is basically over. I refuse to give